Good evening
Good
and
evening.
good evening and good day, everyone, and welcome. On behalf of the organizers, it is my pleasure to welcome all participants joining us from Uganda and across the diaspora for this important conversation on agribusiness investment opportunities in Uganda. I'm Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞 and moderator for today's conversation. Agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, employing the majority of our population and contributing significantly to exports, food security, and lots of livelihoods in Uganda. Yet agriculture today is no longer simply about farming. It's about agribusiness, value addition, technology, and lots of what we shall hear today. So today's discussion is particularly timely because Ugandans in the diaspora are increasingly looking for investment opportunities that not only generate returns, but also contribute to national development. Agribusiness offers a unique opportunity to achieve both, whether through commercial farming, agro-processing, or value addition. There are significant opportunities for diaspora investors to participate in the growth of Uganda's economy. So we are fortunate today to have our very distinguished experts from government who will help us better understand the opportunities, the challenges, the practical steps that are needed to invest successfully in Uganda's agricultural sector. So throughout the discussion, we encourage participants to actively engage through the chat and Q&A platform. And thank you for making time to join us today. We look forward to an informative and practical and inspiring discussion. So it's now my pleasure to invite our host, Mr. Topher Masiko, who I will introduce to you. Mr. Topher Masiko is a Ugandan development and agribusiness professional, coordinating stakeholder engagement, strategic partnerships, and diaspora-led development initiatives. He began his career with over a decade as an affiliate contractor with the United States government, Department of Defense, gaining extensive experience in international operations and institutional partnerships. Upon returning to Uganda, he transitioned into private enterprise. He's the executive director of 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞 Limited and the founder of Agro-Tourism Farm and Education Center. I'm sure he will tell us about this, integrating commercial farming, agribusiness education, and agro-tourism. In 2025, he was honored by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries as an award-winning farmer and recognized as an exemplary commercial coffee farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Topher Masiko to officially open this webinar and deliver his remarks. Topher, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Dan, Fiona, fellow Ugandans across the world. Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Allow me to warmly welcome you to episode 5 of the Uganda Global Diaspora Engagement Webinar Series. On behalf of State House Diaspora Unit, I also want to bring you warm regards and greetings from our head, Mr. Muhammad Wagonza, and Mr. Abiona Henry, who are currently out of the country in Europe for official duties, and greetings from the entire staff here. I thank you for taking the time to join us for this. And I think it's very important, going to be a very important conversation. Today's theme is agribusiness and value addition. And our discussion will focus on agriculture, agribusiness, value addition, investment models, coffee exports, and land lease. To me, this topic is personal. Like many Ugandans in the diaspora, I once lived and worked abroad. When I returned home, I explored various opportunities. But one of the most rewarding decisions I made was in agriculture. Today, I'm involved in coffee farming, dairy farming, and fish farming. Throughout this journey, I have witnessed firsthand immense opportunity that agriculture holds for wealth creation, employment, and community transformation. Normally, our president consistently talks about encouraging Ugandans to move beyond farming for consumption alone, what he normally calls agenda. and embrace commercial agriculture. Agriculture should not only feed our families, it should generate income, create jobs, and lift household out of poverty. We are very lucky until you lose what you have. It's when you know its value. To be born here and to be Ugandans. Uganda is with fertile soils, a good climate, abundant water sources, and access to regional and international markets. These are advantages that many countries can only dream of. You can just imagine most of our neighbors. Here in Uganda, 80% of our land is edible. You can cultivate and harvest timely, but we only use 35% out of 80. So we are utilizing the gift that God gave us. When you just cross here in Kenya, you find that 80% of their land is arid and semi-arid, which means you have limitation on cultivating crops if you don't have irrigation and fertilizer.
Sorry, Mr. Toffa,
Therefore, I really encourage your brothers and sisters in the diaspora, if you have land in Uganda, I encourage you to put it in productive use. If you do not yet have the land, try and have land. Agriculture is no longer just about digging. It's about agribusiness, value addition, exports, technology, and investment. And the time is not waiting for anybody. When you look at data here with our population, most of us were in our 40s, we can tell about this government. In 1986, Uganda had a population of 13.6 million people. The last census, 2024, we are 45.9, dropping to 46. When you look at records and data from Ministry of Health last year, they gave a report that 2 million babies were born in 1 year. This really gives us that tells us that the multiplication, if it's going to be so high in the next 20 years, we may hit 100 plus. And our Uganda keeps its size, is not expanding. So land, it is a factor of production. I encourage all citizens in the diaspora, get some land somewhere. This evening, we have assembled very good panel experts, panelists, who will share with us the expertise and help answer some of the questions many of you have about investing in Uganda business sector and taking advantage of opportunities available. I encourage you to participate actively, ask questions, and take full advantage of the expertise that we share here. With those remarks, I'm pleased to officially declare episode 5 of our series of the Uganda Global Diaspora Engagement Webinar Series. I wish you all the best and a fruitful discussion for God and my country. Back to you, Dr. Fiona.
Thank you very much, Mr. Masiko, for those encouraging words and giving us experience as people who are in the diaspora and would want to move back home but are afraid. So we now move into our first panel segment, focusing on strategic agribusiness investment by Ugandans in the diaspora, which will be brought to us by a distinguished Ugandan called Dr. Hilary Manuel Musoke, an agribusiness strategist, a policy advisor, and national development leader. Dr. Musoke plays a pivotal role in advancing Uganda's vision for sustainable agribusiness growth, industrialization, and wealth creation. And he has several areas where he's an expert, but of those I'll mention agriculture, transformation and value chain development, rural economic empowerment and strategic policy implementation, farmer empowerment and agribusiness innovation, and investment promotion and inclusive socio-economic progress. Welcome, Dr. Musoke.
Yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Yes, we are happy to see you. And Mr. Musoke, I should mention, is and Mr. Musoke is our Senior Presidential Advisor on Agribusiness and Agriculture Development in Uganda. So, Mr. Musoke, I'll present to you a few questions in just 4 different segments.
Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 different segments. Yes, please. 4 differ Can you hear me? No, it shows asking question. Just hang out.
Sincere apologies for that. So, Mr. 𝐓𝐿𝐴, I'll still ask my first question. Why should Ugandans in the diaspora consider agribusiness as a priority investment sector? And what is government's vision for transforming agriculture from subsistence farming into a modern commercial agribusiness sector? And my second question, which we'll take under the same segment, is what are the most promising opportunities across the agricultural value chain, including high return enterprises over the next 5 to 10 years, and what investment models are best suited for diaspora investors who cannot manage farms directly? Over to you, Dr. 𝐓𝐿𝐴.
I thank you. Sorry for that breakup. This is a very, very interesting topic because you are really processing what I'm supposed to do in the country. As you have told our colleagues in the diaspora, I'm Dr. Hilary Emmanuel 𝐓𝐿𝐴, and I'm in charge of agribusiness and value addition development. I thank everyone, especially the head of our unit, Mr. Bagonza, Mr. Abiona, and Comrade Tofa, and all the staff, where I also serve as an agribusiness and value addition advocate. This is a topic which needs about 5 hours to 10 hours, but I'll try to really answer, just giving some tips, but good enough. Mr. Tofa and the Secretariat have prepared a detailed document that is going to really send on your different platforms to see that you read and find time to read and digest. You are very much aware, our colleagues in the diaspora, we started this initiative of sharing information with you to see what happens in Uganda. Out there, Uganda is branded by self-seekers, is branded badly. Here in Uganda, we are enjoying, we are happy, we are rejoicing, people are making money, we are investing. But the few people who call themselves the politicians blackmail Uganda, and out there in the diaspora, you think that what is you are seeing on the social media is what is happening. However, there are those bottlenecks like corruption. I always tell you, it is the responsibility of everyone to fight corruption. It is the responsibility of everyone to say no to impunity, to respect human rights. But as we are respecting human rights of others, we should also respect others. So my call to diaspora, whenever I get a chance to talk to you, is to make sure that we rebrand Uganda. Let us love Uganda. Let us know we are out there, but this is our country that gave us a passport and to go into those countries. And our singers, our judges, our brothers and sisters and cousins are all thriving in Uganda. So it is your role to rebrand Uganda. Uganda went through hell. It went through wars. It went through every evil. While other countries like Kenya, like Tanzania, like Rwanda, like Botswana, like South Africa were growing and developing. Uganda has tasted the first piece of its kind, and now Uganda has started growing, walking and running ultimately. So let us be very, very deliberate and intentional. I wanted to give you that preamble so that you can know where your country is. However, agriculture, you are very much aware, colleagues, that is the backbone, as Comrade Tofa has told you. We should not only sing agriculture. Uganda is gifted by soils, by weather, by rain, by the population. We must not just sing this. We must be intentional and deliberate to know that we must move from normal agriculture to agribusiness. And agribusiness, you must talk about value addition. Dear colleagues in the diaspora, very much aware If you are in UK, you are in Germany, you are in US, you are in India, you are in China, you are very much aware that deliberately Africa was made to become a market of finished products, but a market of raw materials for the other countries, where we are supposed to grow cocoa and import chocolate. We are supposed to grow cotton and import clothes. We are supposed to grow to export leather and import leather products like shoes and belts and wallets and everything. Supposed to export minerals and then import rings, diamond rings, golden rings. We are supposed to have raw materials and have our oil, for example, and then we take away for refineries in the Europe and now bring back finished products. Now the president is very intentional and is deliberate, is looking at us really singing agribusiness, which must be followed with value addition. We must start adding value on our locally produced products from the source. Dear colleagues, you are very much aware that Uganda's agribusiness sector represents a transformative wealth building opportunity for the diaspora, combining national development with high return on investments. With over 1.3 billion annual remittances you people in the diaspora give to the country, if we redirected 20% into strategic business agribusiness enterprises, we can drive an economic growth, we can create jobs and sustainable development, because a lot of money will be coming. Here we are looking at just redirecting 20% of the $1.3 billion diaspora remittances. We go ahead to see why invest in Uganda agribusiness. You are very much aware, colleagues, that Uganda, as a way of food security, the global demand for food out of the 9.7 billion by 2030, the whole world needs food. Many countries cannot grow food. The Arab world, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all those countries need food. And it's only Africa, where Uganda is located, that can produce this food. So there's demand for security. Global population in 2050 is going to be about 1 trillion by 2030. Food is a stable need, and ensuring stable supply of food, we must make sure that we promote agribusiness. Uganda's competitive advantages to you, the diaspora, that make you invest in agribusiness in the country. One, we have arable land about 80%, but only 35% is cultivated, dear colleagues. When you go to your villages, you see people fighting for land here in Kampala. But let me tell you, you go to Mpigi, Butambala, you go to Ngoma, you go here in Mitiana Mubende, land is empty. You go to Arua, Gulu, everywhere Karamoja, land is empty. It is only 35% cultivated, and most of it is not even commercial, but somehow still in peasantry farming. We have the water resources, dear colleagues. I want to give you a preamble why we must invest. We have the water resources of Lake Victoria, Nile, and abundant rainfall. We have climate, year-round growing seasons. Uganda is one of the most treasured countries. It is followed by India, where you can have between 2 to 3 seasons in a year of you harvesting. With the economic impact, agriculture contributes 24% to GDP of Uganda, and it employs 70% of the house force in the country. This means that this population and diversity in the different agri enterprises, where you involve fishing, you have crop, you have animal husbandry, you have a diversity of areas of investment, as long as you are deliberate and intentional to put your money into agribusiness. The government vision in Uganda currently is a shift from subsistence to market-oriented agriculture under the Third National Development Plan. We are focusing on zonal specialization, and the country has been earmarked into 16 agricultural commodity industrial clusters, where mechanization is now promoted, certified seeds, and irrigation. Dear colleagues in the diaspora, the president has directed cabinet and parliament to focus most of the money on mechanization and irrigation and providing quality seeds. And actually, when you hear people saying about borrowing, His Excellency the President has given directives that we must only borrow money if it is going to go into productive enterprises. Is it going to irrigation for our people in the villages? Is it going to promote mechanization of tractors and hand tool tractors? Is it going to provide fertilizers? Is it going to provide skills development? That one is a loan which can be accepted. So these are deliberate strategic decisions that the president is trying to promote. Now the investment opportunities across the value chain of agriculture are very enormous. Upstream, seed multiplication, fertilizer blending equipment, leasing, all these opportunities. Mainstream, aggregation, storage, and processing facilities are all opportunities to invest in. Downstream, processing, packaging, and branding are all opportunities to invest in, because when you come to the shops of our supermarkets in the country, dear colleagues, 95% of the products are being imported. You can't believe we are importing honey, we are importing tomato sauce from 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞 from America, we are importing garlic, we are importing onions from Kenya, we are importing mangoes, we are importing pineapples, we are importing gonja, we are importing peanuts, we are importing everything in Nakasero is being imported. But as Comrade Topher told you, look at the land in Kenya. You see spices. They even call Zanzibar Spice Island. But look at the land in Zanzibar. How can it be called a spice island? Because it is growing lots of spices and exporting to Europe and those countries where you are. That means all these opportunities are very, very key for anyone in the diaspora to identify a market, a niche market, and also make sure that they invest into that. So there are some high potential enterprises, 5 to 10 year returns, where you scoop your money within 5 to 10 years. For example, commercial horticulture and floriculture. There's oil palm and soybean. There's dairy and beef. There's aquaculture and pharmaceutical crops. You are very much aware that we are importing a lot of $1 million imported into our pharmaceutical sector. Colleagues, before you went to those countries in the diaspora, remember our brothers and fathers and mothers used to use our herbs to cure us. And these are the exact raw materials that are here available, where they go and process, add value, and make different medicines. But you find that now we left that. We think when you use herbal medicine here, they tell you that you are a spiritual person. That means that some mindset needs to be done. And we see, how do we add value on these herbs, trees, grasses? Investment models for absentee investors. For example, you, the diaspora people, when you are away, we have outgrower nuclear estate model. We have joint ventures with established agribusinesses. We have private equity in small, medium enterprises. You can also lease and manage with professional farm managers. If you are staying in UK, in Germany, in Saudi Arabia, in America, you can decide on different models of you to invest. Therefore, we can also look at the agribusiness and value addition, the path to wealth. Why am I putting these two together? You've seen so many people cultivating land for over 20 years, but they have remained poor. That means they have not been doing agribusiness. Now, His Excellency the President and us and government, we are trying to see, how do you practice agriculture and become wealthy? One, what is the enterprise you are choosing? What is the choice of the enterprise? How are you adding value to make sure that you maximize the profits? This is why we say that we must add value, because Uganda captures less than 10% of the global coffee value, despite being Africa's second-largest exporter to Ethiopia. Why? But we have been earning only 10% of that coffee. Why? The rest is exported and taken to those countries with coffee baristas, and they make it Nescafe, even other brands. Value addition reduces commodity price shocks creates jobs, and boosts foreign exchange earnings. Dear colleagues, why you hear the president fighting to organize the coffee sector? Coffee is a green gold, but we only get peanut out of it. You are very much aware all our grandfathers and fathers put in bags and sacks, take and export to those coffee baristas and roasters in other countries. This one, they are exporting containers of money in dollars and exporting the jobs of your young people and cousins who remained here in the country. So that's why he's saying, guys, excuse me, can we use money? Can we put money deliberately and see if we can also add value at source? So when you hear the likes of Tugume Nelson in Africa, when you hear the Nonda coffee in Luwero that are coming up, the president is very deliberate to say that we add value and export a finished product that earns a lot of money. I'm giving you some high potential commodities for value addition here. We have coffee, we have the fruits, we have the maize and soy, we have dairy, we have livestock. So diaspora participation in agro-processing is key in that you can just save your money and identify a particular enterprise and you say, let me invest in this. So there you can establish medium scale processing units between $100,000 to $500,000 investment. You can invest in packaging solutions and cold chain logistics. Dear colleagues, you see that most of the packaging material here are imported from Kenya and other countries, South Africa. Even the few countries that are here in the country, you might need like 3 to 3 months for you to fulfill your order. That means there's a lot of virgin area in investing the packaging industry, whereby you invest between $100,000 to $500,000 to those ones who are earning well. I know you have the money, you guys, but most of it is on account. We have government incentives, which a diaspora person must know. For example, we have tax holidays. It's not only for Chinese or Indians. We have tax holidays as long as you can meet the threshold of an investor. We have duty exemption. We have soft land. We have co-investment opportunities with the Uganda Development Corporation, UDC. This is a government company where you say, guys, I have $1 million or $5 million. Can I co-invest with the government so that I give you my money and the government runs this, but you share the profits? And after maybe 15, 10 years, and take over that project. So we have some lessons from successful models in other countries. For example, Thailand, kitchen of the world, which is giving everything. Thailand has become a kitchen, a fumbiro liensi now. We have Netherlands.
Okay, you have 2 minutes to wind up.
And cooperative models. We look at Rwanda branding consistency. You have seen how Rwanda choice has led into the branding. They are branding everything to see that they are leaders in the market. Land and agribusiness investments navigating the foundation. Dear colleagues, land purchasing considerations, you in the diaspora. You cannot talk of agribusiness when you don't have land, when you are purchasing fraudulent land, when you are sending money to buy land and they are defrauding you. Land purchasing considerations is key for you to involve into any investment in an agribusiness enterprise. You must have a title. You must do due diligence. You must have sustainability. You must have infrastructure. The land must have infrastructure to access it. Let me give you a few tips onto the mitigation, risk mitigation and leasing. You use independent lawyers and verify titles. Many Kamufus here on the street. You may want to buy some square mile to do agribusiness, but then you find that you are using street guys. Because you are not staying in Uganda, many have been defrauded and have lost money. So you have to use independent lawyers and verify titles. You must engage local communities transparently. Explore title insurance products. Leasing reduces upfront costs and tenure risks. High opportunity regions for you to invest in agribusiness. We have Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda, and Central Uganda. Common mistakes to avoid for diaspora is sending money without formal business structures, underestimating operational costs, buying land remotely without due diligence, neglecting community relations. You must have at least someone to brief you about what is happening in that community. Financing and partnerships, building together. We have structuring remote investments. Register Uganda Limited Liability Company here in Uganda. Appoint a professional board and accountable fund manager. Use technology for monitoring. You know very much aware you are better in technology in the diaspora, but now you can be in Los Angeles, you can be in Washington and monitor your farm, monitor your housing estate, you monitor your A and B, you monitor your tenant houses and see that really you have everything on your collaborative models and financing. Here we have cooperative circles and investment clubs. We have diaspora agribusiness investment funds, like for other countries. We have agriculture creative facility for you to invest in. And this is a loan, a soft loan by Bank of Uganda given to other commercial banks. We have Uganda Development Bank for you who is going to engage into anything like tourism. You are going to engage in processing and the agro value addition. You are going to engage in commercial, extensive from 50 acres and above. You have money at very, actually the one for extensive agribusiness people, government pays the interest. For you just get money, go, use it, bring back the principal. Export credit guarantee scheme is also that one promoting exports. If you want money to deal in exports, this money is there. Then we have also the venture capital. Final call to action, dear colleagues in the diaspora. Uganda agribusiness sector offers unique convergence of resource abundance, growing demand, and government support. Invest in Ugandan soil, the most reliable bank for future generations. So, dear colleagues, I had to go so fast so that I give that broad preamble of you people to understand that being an agricultural country, the president and his cabinet and government entirely has come up with intentional and deliberate strategies to make sure that you invest in agriculture. Agriculture is the only enterprise that will employ our young people, is the only enterprise that will create wealth, is the only enterprise that will transform the country to a middle class income, if not a first class income. I have to go fast because I knew I had to give in a lot, and this is my area of expertise for you to have bolder lens to look into agriculture from a broader perspective, from the aquaculture Tofa is doing, from the coffee, from the macadamia, from the avocado, locals and the hash avocado, from the beef cows, from the dairy cows, from the goats, from the sheep, from the poultry, from the piggery. You can make a lot of money. I thank you. I thank you so much, Madam Fiona, for really moderating this. I thank all the panelists and all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. I await any question for my response. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞, for those very practical and insightful contributions. I had the people who have 100, 500,000 should get ready. We have areas to invest. So now we'll swiftly move on to our second panelist, Mr. Alex Lwakuba, who is the Commissioner for Crop Production, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Mr. Lwakuba is a seasoned agriculture expert and a public servant with over 2 decades of experience in crop production, soil fertility management, agroforestry, and sustainable farming systems. Before becoming commissioner in 2018, he held several senior technical positions at the ministry, including Assistant Commissioner for Crop Production and Principal Agricultural Officer. He has authored and co-authored publications on crop production, soil biodiversity, and agriculture policy, and continues to support Uganda's efforts towards increasing productivity, food security, and agricultural commercialization. Welcome, Mr. Lwakuba.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fiona, our moderator. I want to thank even the host, Mr. Topher Masco, and raised in the work with State House, Dr. Mosoke, and their colleagues, panelists. And there were potential investors. Good evening, good morning, and greetings to all of you.
Good evening, Mr. Lwakuba. So, Mr. Lwakuba, I'll quickly
Yes,
take you
it's
through a few
true. I am
questions.
Production Protection Department.
All right, all right. So I have just a few questions for you, and I hope we can go through them quickly. So my first one will be on
Please.
commercial crop production opportunities. Which crop enterprises currently offer the greatest commercial and export opportunities in Uganda? And including crops that generate attractive returns. That is what we are looking for as people in the diaspora, where we can make money. But also, what emerging crop enterprises should investors be considering? And how is the ministry supporting increased agricultural productivity and competitiveness?
Yeah, thank you very much. What are the crop enterprises? The crop enterprises with great commercial opportunities include coffee, certainly, coffee, Robusta, Arabica coffee. We have cocoa, cocoa. And in Uganda, we also produce the conventional, but also organic cocoa. We have tea, although tea has issues of global price volatility. But we cannot rule out tea because it has great potential for employment, industrialization. And that one actually goes into the core of government development aspiration. So tea is also included. We have horticulture. And in horticulture, I mean the fruits and vegetables, including the spices. And under horticulture, you would like to hear of things like Hearts avocado. Hearts avocado can be processed into oil and with various uses. But we also have crops like the vegetables. We have also the spices. We have vegetables that can be exported in fresh form, but we also have vegetables that can be processed. We have the spices mentioned, like things like the onions, red Creole, not these giants, the big ones which do not have taste. But as you know, Ugandan crops are known for flavor. They are known for taste and unique taste. And when you talk of even pineapples, a Ugandan pineapple is the best all over the world. There is no pineapple which is as delicious as the Ugandan pineapple. You try it and you will prove me right. So we have fruits, we have vegetables, we have spices. I was talking to spices, the onions, the garlic, the habaneros, the capsicum, and we have things like we have even essential oils from these spices which have not been explored. And those are some of the crops that are making money, which we call high value crops. That's another language we use. So those are the crops that, yeah. Then if I may go to the second part of the question.
Yes, please.
If I may move to the second part of the question, which ones have a future demand or are attracting future demand? Certainly, you will not leave out the coffee. Coffee is still on high demand, and the trend is actually, we are having a positive trajectory when it comes to demand. Coffee and even cocoa, because these are food commodities. And cocoa, there is no other country that can produce organic cocoa like in Uganda. We generally produce, we produce crops naturally, almost naturally. You know, organic is a question of application. So if you can follow the certification processes, then our production system qualifies to be organic. So cocoa is also there, but we have other emerging crops, non-traditional export crops. We have the cashew nut, we have the macadamia, and we have even shea nut butter. That is an area which is not exploited yet. We have vanilla in Uganda, and Uganda's vanilla is the best in the world in taste because we produce natural vanilla, organic vanilla. And there are global companies like the Nestle, they are now migrating from artificial vanilla to organic vanilla, and Uganda is actually best placed to harness those opportunities. You may even be aware that 90% of the vanilla flavors that we use in the world are artificial. Only 2% is used in the food, in the confectionaries, in pharmaceuticals, but Uganda produces organic vanilla. And we have a number of investors that are coming here in Uganda to start processing vanilla into vanilla oil, like Enimiro, and we have others. Please come and join the rest of investors to produce this vanilla. Then
Yes.
you asked me the third question. The third question, what opportunities exist that, or what are we doing to, if you may restate it, Dr. Fiona.
Okay, this one you answer it in just a minute. How is the Ministry of Agriculture supporting increased agricultural productivity and competitiveness with our neighbors?
And competitiveness. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What are we doing? What are we doing? I want to start by saying that we're responsible for creating a favorable enabling environment. Favorable enabling environment to produce the crops, the livestock, like even my other colleague doctor has mentioned, and fisheries and productive entomology as a ministry. So one, we are creating enabling environment through policies, through regulations, strategies, plans, standards, guidelines. That's enabling environment that provides the direction. Number two is that we are conducting requisite research to produce improved crop varieties that are resilient, that are tolerant to the diseases, and that are tolerant to drought, but also that yield or mature very fast, and that are palatable, and that are processable. And so that is another area. We are promoting technologies technologies of minimizing the risks to vagaries of production, vagaries of weather. For example, provision of irrigation, provision of mechanization. We are supporting even large-scale producers. And this is where investors are welcome. Welcome here. We work with Uganda Investment Authority, with us, and you get land, and you go into meaningful and large-scale production. We are also supporting regulation, certification. These ones facilitate access to markets, both national, regional, and international. So we support certification, regulation, certification, and exports. We are also here to support coordination of the various actors in the agricultural sector. You want me to add on?
No, thank you very much. We're actually running out of time right now. But I will ask you another question, which is about, I would like you to tell us about coffee.
Please.
What opportunities actually exist across the coffee value chain? Everyone is talking about coffee, and how can diaspora investors participate in coffee farming?
Let me answer that one, starting from the key factor of investment. That is the piece the security, and then the political will. We have a political will. We have a resolute political guidance with regard to coffee production in this country. One, there is a policy environment that favors coffee production. Right from HE, the president, and the cabinet, we have a resolute action and a target for coffee production in this country, and that we want at least 20 million bags. We have a coffee roadmap where we have to realize those targets. We are having a positive growth trend of coffee especially. We are at 9.6 million 60 kilogram bags. So one, we have a positive political will, the peace and security everywhere in the country where actually we are trying coffee to, we are taking coffee even to north, even traditional coffee producing areas. So government is investing a lot of money into the coffee research, the varieties, and support to value adders, investors who want to add value to coffee. There is a positive support to such investors. So then there is that support in terms of even finance. I should have mentioned that one of the areas that is supporting increased production of all crops is access to affordable finance and even insurance. So even coffee, for coffee adders, those who want to invest in coffee, either nucleus farmers and bulkers and processors and exporters, there is a provision and support for such investors. There is also an incentive, actually. There's an incentive for value addition. One who is going into large-scale production of not only coffee, but also other crops. There is an incentive, a tax incentive, if you are importing machinery here for processing, even tractors for large-scale operations. Those are opportunities that are existing. There is another one in Uganda. We have water bodies, enormous water bodies scattered all over the country. There is now infrastructure for irrigation, and the government is supporting irrigation. Most of the priorities that we're talking of is irrigation, tractorization, and a partnership with large-scale producers. That is another priority that actually government has identified. So these are opportunities for investment in Uganda's agriculture, not only in coffee, but also in cocoa, in horticulture, and other emerging non-traditional cash crops.
Thank you very much.
We have the personnel. We have also the personnel. We have personnel. We have trained manpower, researchers, including even extension. So we have even personnel, and we have the labor. Labor here is relatively cheaper compared to other countries. All those are opportunities that are available. What about even the market here? We are in East Africa. We have a common market protocol that we ratified as a country, so we can access the markets within the region. You not only coffee, you can actually go to within the region. We can access the inputs within the region. Even in Africa and international, we access even international markets. Those are all opportunities for not only production, for value addition, but also for marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is what we need to know as people in the diaspora, to know that there are opportunities for us to come home to. So still as an expert in this area, I will now ask you about what happens in the area of crop protection and quality assurance. What major pests should we expect, diseases or production risks that are affecting crop farming today in Uganda? And how does the ministry support farmers through the crop protection and soil testing and all that you mentioned? You mentioned all the technology that is coming in and other advisory services. You said we have the manpower, we have the expertise. So how does the ministry help us with crop protection? What diseases and pests should we expect?
Thank you very much. I start with the crop, the common crop pests and diseases. And I may give you maybe crop, I may not manage, but just a few crops. If I mention the coffee, which is the leading crop, and even and I would say on the other side of maize, I will mention maize because it has a lot of multiplier effects, downstream multiplier effects. So starting with the coffee, we have the coffee wilt disease. Coffee wilt disease. Now, we have gotten a solution to this one through technology research. So our research has developed the coffee, the resistant, the coffee wilt resistant varieties. So we have what we call CWDR, coffee wilt disease resistant varieties. The CDR, we have actually CWDR 1, 2, 3, 4, up to almost 14. And so those are varieties with the screen, say various screen up to screen 15. These large beans that are required by some of our importers and consumers. So we have that disease. We have a pest, for example, of coffee, the coffee black twig borer. Coffee black twig borer. This one, anyway, we can use a chemical, the chemical imidacloprid. We have Emax. We can use that chemical or striker, but the best, because we do not also want some other residues to go into the food chain, that one can be managed largely through husbandry practices. So that is coffee. For cocoa, we have cocoa capsid. These are pests. We have some diseases like the black spot, but these are manageable diseases. You can use crop husbandry, that is cleaning and removing, actually we call it pruning. Pruning, you remove the excessive shade. Even for coffee, when it comes to the black twig borer, you can remove excessive shade, and also cultural methods to bring down the cost of production. So those are some of the pests and diseases. Then for other crops, like the cereals, we have, say, attacks, sometimes attacks of the desert locusts, the fall armyworm, but for desert locusts, we have an organization, a regional organization, the Desert Locust Organization of East Africa, and we are members, actually. We are even a council member at the highest level of leadership of that organization. They give us support when it comes to attacks, and we can even use aerial sprays. They give us aircrafts, and we can use aerial sprays when we get attacks that are of a commercial level and a commercial nature. And then we have the fall armyworm, and these are actually migratory pests. They are not here all the time, but well, they are triggered by changes in climate, changes in weather. So they come once in a while, and when we get attacks on maize, on say even pastures and cereal crops, what do? We have chemicals. We stock chemicals and say and wipe it out. We have even striker. Striker is actually the common one that we can use. We can use also rocket. Then we have a disease on cereals. We have the maize lethal necrosis. This is wilting of maize in the field. Maize is important because we use maize not only for direct food to the children for food, but also for feed. We process for feed. It can be used as fodder. It can be used as a feed, raw material. And so that's why it is important. But for the maize lethal necrosis, what we do, our research has come in to develop varieties that are tolerant to the maize listern necrosis disease. That is what I can do. And what else do we do? Of course, I talked about the extension. I talked about this research generating improved varieties. And I've talked about us in the Department of Crop Protection. We buy and we stock some chemicals for demonstrations. So we carry out demonstrations. We have what we call plant clinics. We go out. Plant clinics are actually hands-on training in the identification, in the diagnosis, and control and management of the pests, including the diseases. So we also actually participate in national shows and exhibitions where we display technologies and proven technologies, control technologies. We also carry out quarantines. We establish quarantines for identification, diagnostics, and control. We have also regular surveillances. We carry out regular surveillances to identify, to diagnose, and control the pests. And then we have these partnerships with national and regional and international bodies. We are partners. We collaborate with them to identify, to manage the pests and diseases. So through such methods and provision of improved seed varieties that I talked about and multiplication, we increase production and productivity. Certainly including the pest and vector control, including the tractorization, the mechanization, the irrigation, including promotion of finance and insurance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to ask you one final question, and I would request that you help me answer it in a minute. What advice would you give to first-time diaspora investors, particularly absentee farm owners? Would you encourage us to go ahead? Are there any success factors, or you tell us to forget until we can come home?
Okay, as I answer that one, I'll answer it together with what I missed there on soil. It is important to first carry out a soil analysis. Okay, I'll do that. The advice is they should seek professional advice. That's number one. Professional advice. Two, there is need for planning. And the commercial farming, commercial agribusiness starts with planning. You plan on what you want to do, how you want to do it, with whom you want to do it. And we have strategies. We have a strategy which is known as Agricultural Value Chain Development Strategy. This is a document which provides guidance with regard to what should be done, how should it be done, where should it be done, with whom. So you need to plan. Then to seek a professional guidance. Then number three, if you are absentee, at least forge formidable partnerships with on the ground. If you want business to business partnership, or you want to establish a company and you hire professional managers, that is one of them. And then another one, you could even recruit from the universities or colleges. You recruit and get professional managers to manage the staff. So that is what I have to add on. I may add something to do with the soil. The soil, it is important to test the soil, because with the soil, you will then optimize your production activities, your crop production activities. It is important to know what the soil lacks, what the soil has. And that agronomic assessment of soil will determine subsequent agronomic activities. You will optimize production, you will minimize losses, you will maximize profitability. That is what I have to add on.
Thank you very much, and we highly appreciate Mr. Lwakuba. We can feel the passion behind you speaking and your expertise. So we would now love to move on to our third and final panel segment, which will focus on trade, export markets, and diaspora participation in international trade. We have a number of questions that are coming up in our Q&A, so would love to have enough time at the end to discuss with our dear participants. This last segment on trade will be brought to us by Mr. 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐿 Ndorere, who is the Commissioner for External Trade, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Mr. 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐿 is a distinguished Ugandan trade policy specialist and a public administrator with over 17 years of experience in trade negotiations, regional integration, and export development. He has played a significant role in Uganda's participation in regional and international trade agreements, including the ESC Common Market, COMESA, and African Continental Free Trade Area, and is recognized for his leadership in trade, production, and economic diplomacy. So now I'll move on swiftly to ask you also a few questions, and I'll request also to be direct Mr. Ndorere with your answers. What export opportunities currently exist for Ugandan agricultural products, and which products are experiencing the highest demand in regional and international markets? But also coupled with that, I would also like to ask, how can Ugandans in the diaspora participate in export trade, leverage opportunities in their countries of residence, and serve as ambassadors for Ugandan products abroad? Over to you, Mr. Ndorere.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Before I indulge into the questions you put forward, let me first also add my voice to thank the State House Diaspora Unit led by the team, Muhammad Bagonza and his team, and in particular, Tofa, for enabling us to meet this evening. And I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to all our colleagues all over the diaspora, and to thank you also for participating in this. Because I wanted to put on the video for purposes of putting a face on the name, but you allow me, because the network, I think there is an echo because of when there's so many videos, you allow me so that I can maintain the audio alone. I hope that is okay. Is it okay, Fiona? Can you hear me?
Yes, sure, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
And it's okay to turn off your video. But it's very clear.
So thank you very much for your questions, and I love the way you have structured it, given that my colleagues, Commissioner Alex and Hillary before him, did talk about the upstream issues that are required for you to be able to trade, because you cannot trade what you do not have. So he has ably, as you said, with passion, spoken about the production level and increasing productivity. But as you observed, it's not sufficient to increase production and productivity only if we do not have a market. Uganda's export sector has really undergone significant transformation, and 60% of our exports in 2024-25, we reached up, 25 years, we reached up to $13.6 billion worth of exports. Those are merchandise exports, and 60% of that was from agriculture. Specifically, if you see, for instance, what coffee generated, $2.5 billion, 8 million bags, 8 million 60 kilogram bags, which is really a substantial contribution to our export basket. So when you bring together our diaspora and give us an opportunity to speak to them and tell them about the opportunities that exist in agriculture and agribusiness, to us in the Ministry of Trade, who are responsible for not only trade, but even cooperatives and industry, you really do us a great service. So we want to appreciate that. And we want to appreciate the nexus between agribusiness and industrialization, as you may know it, because there's not all countries that have developed. If you look at Brazil, Italy, and others, have done so on the backbone or at the they have been done it because of agriculture, moving their export markets to agriculture, to industrialization, and all that. So talking of the products you asked about, which are in demand globally and regionally, Mr. 𝐓𝐴 already hinted to them, so I will not go much into that. But we know there is a growing demand in coffee for both specialty coffee and organic coffee. The challenge is we usually meet, and you may be aware that we have up to now been having problems or challenges with our development partners, especially at the regional, international level, regarding the subsidies sometimes they give to their agriculture products, and also what we call tariff escalations. Sometimes you find that, for instance, if you send green beans of coffee, raw coffee, you get between 0 to 5% of tariffs in some countries. If you roast it, you find it increasing to 10%. And if you do instant coffee, you find it almost going to 20%. So our role here in the ministry, we have been negotiating seriously to remove these subsidies and remove those tariff escalations. There's also cocoa, which he talked about, avocado. Avocado, now the global market demand, especially has, and its other byproducts or products such as the virgin oil, and the rest is a 20 billion market globally. The organic products are growing annually over 10%. In the dairy products all over the Africa, our milk, just today I got a call from Côte d'Ivoire interested in taking our powder milk. We are sending milk to Algeria. These are markets in West Africa, which originally were not traditional markets, but now because of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we are sending them there. The processed fruits for increasing convenience, food consumption, the sesame and oil seeds, spices and herbs, there are quite many which are in demand all over the region. And for the markets we have negotiated in the African Continental Free Trade Area, where we have a population now of 1.5 billion people, second to India. We have got a GDP of $3.4 trillion. All that is a market for us to satisfy. The people in Morocco, in Algeria, in Tunis are enjoying fruits which come from Uganda and first divert through Italy, through Spain, through Greece. They are dried or even just frozen and then repacked and sent down to Northern Africa. So these are markets which, if we can invest very smartly, we should be able to access. Over to you,
right.
Fiona.
Thank you very much. Just to your last point, you're talking of the markets that we can be able to access. So just on that point on export, I want to ask you about export requirements and standards. What quality standards, our certifications or regulatory requirements must exporters meet to access those markets? But also, what are the common mistakes that first-time exporters make, and what support is available to help their businesses in such an?
So internationally, all traders or all countries who are importing, especially in agriculture, must look out for two major things. They want security or safety, actually safety, food safety for their people, for their consumers, and safety, feed safety for their animals and plant health. They do not want us, for instance, to export a product that will create or will take invasive weeds, or a product that has got salmonella or any other aflatoxin that will pose challenges or disease, carcinogenic materials that can cause disease. So one of the key requirements that unfortunately some countries have over time been using as disguised trade barriers is the sanitary and phytosanitary measures. These are to ensure sanitary stands for animal So we are talking about the beef, the fish, the milk, and all that. Then phyto, as you may know, stands for plant. So these are measures that ensure that countries have got protection from the exporting country. But the beauty is that these certificates now are uploaded through the electronic single windows. These are government's interventions for trade facilitation to ensure that one does not have to run around different areas. There's a single window where you can apply for your certificate. Minister of Agriculture will come and supervise or inspect your pack house, and they will issue that certificate online. Another one is a product traceability system. Of recent, again, it's because we're not sure whether it is because of our competitive advantage in Africa in agriculture. Some trading partners have come up with requirements, unilateral requirements, which we did not negotiate. For instance, the EU deforestation regulations, which will require that the products you produce, especially those on the land, like cocoa, coffee, the beef, need to have a traceability system to ensure that you have not produced them from a piece of land that was formerly forested as of 2020. This is a tall order, of course, but the beauty is I know Ministry of Agriculture working with other stakeholders and development partners is doing a registration and certification of our farmers so that by the time that traceability system starts being implemented, then they are able to still access the markets. There are other, what we call the technical barriers to trade, the packaging and labeling requirements or standards, whereby you are required, for instance, to mention how much the calories in the product, to pack with, say, in paper which is from recycled material, or in product from recycled material, to avoid plastic packages, how you label the content in the product. Those are also some of the standards. Then there are also environmental requirements. For instance, there is carbon border management, the carbon which is being produced by our production methods. So there are quite a number. So the major standards organizations is the Codex Alimentarius, which I mentioned earlier about, which is on the CPS. We have the ISO, we have Global Gap, we have the HACCP. So you find that those, and then there are those which are also private, like the Fair Trade certification. You must show that where you are producing from, you are paying a fair price, you're not discriminating against maybe the producers. The producers are getting back a fair price of their inputs. You are not using child labor. So all those, when you use those kind of private standards, you can reach out to premium markets, because you find that a lot of institutions or of takers of our products, for instance, the big supermarkets, will require of you these kind of private standards. Standards per se may not be disciplined by the international standard, the codex I told you, ISO, and the plant health convention, but they are very important. For instance, if you go to big supermarkets like Walmart, these are the biggest of takers of our products when we send there. If they require those kind of products, you have no alternative but to find that you have to meet those standards. There is halal certification. That is what we are working on for Muslim countries. We have worked strongly with UNBS and the Uganda Muslim Council to put together. We now have a halal standard, and we're able to certify halal products. So those are the standards. Did you ask me about what else was your question? Your next question, Fiona.
Common mistake, first-time exporters.
Oh, okay. Common mistakes, of course, as I mentioned. One, the first thing you must do when you want to export, find out what are the tariffs. What are the tariffs? Most people have a misconception that when you say duty-free, quota-free, or that there's tariff liberalization, then they don't pay also VAT and all levies and all that. But customs duties are what we call the behind the border duties. When you have entered inside, you find that sometimes you have to pay VAT, you pay levies, you pay all sorts of levies. And these countries do not put those duties in their tariff books because these are domestic tariffs. So it's very, very important that every time you want to export somewhere, first find out the exact rates they are going to charge you domestically, because those help you to determine the price you are going to purchase from your suppliers. Because if you don't factor them in, you are going to find yourself uncompetitive on the market and you will make losses. Another one is inadequate packaging. If you want to package a product, find out exactly how far are you taking it by air, are you taking it by ship, are you taking it by road, so that that determines how you package your product and how long it can survive before it deteriorates, before it reaches the market. I can give you an example of, say matoke. If you want to take matoke to Europe, you can't get a matoke which is already ripening and you package it. Or bogoya. You know bogoya, what is it called? You take it when it's still green and you have that time in between so that by the time it reaches the shelves, that is when it turns into what? It becomes yellow. Otherwise, if you pack from here when it is already yellow, and then by the time it reaches, you find it's spotted with the black, and then you can't sell it to anyone. Then the other is weak documentation. People fail to, I think we need to build the capacity of our exporters, especially in the diaspora, that we have this opportunity. For instance, Incoterms. If someone tells you Incoterm, if he says free on board, what does it mean? If he says if he says the CIF, what does it mean? If it says letter of credit, what does it mean? Letter of credit to be paid on presentation, what does it mean? Otherwise, if you don't do that documentation and understand the contractual obligations behind each, you will find that you lose money because you and your supplier are not in tandem as to the understanding. Then another one, which is a big elephant in the room, is inconsistent supply. We had cases here where people come and say, oh, we have so many pineapples, big pineapples, but we have nowhere to market them. Say, hey, sure. Then you find someone, a market somewhere, they send pineapples twice, thrice. The third week, they switch off their phones. They can no longer meet the market requirement. Then you find someone calling you, say, where is the supply? You look for the person and you say, I couldn't manage the supply, it was too heavy. So we can work towards consolidation. That's why I talked about earlier, cooperatives being part of this ministry, so that you avoid, if you know you are entering a contract, be honest. Don't say, I have got 5,000 goats to export. We had another example to export goats to United Arab Emirates. Someone said they had 5,000. After sending like 500, they disappeared. So once you have that inconsistency and dishonesty in the market, then you cannot build and you cannot build consistency and reliability in the export market. Then failure to ensure shipments. You need to ensure credit insurance and all that. Ignoring exchange rate risks. You need to know where you are sending and observe what is happening. That brings me to, I think, to believe, as the Dr. Wakoa said, sometimes you may need to get an expert who can advise you on some of these things. So there are quite many mistakes, but I thought those are some of the major ones. Those are some of the major ones that can make you or kill you make you if you overcome them, or they can kill you if you fail to observe them in the export market.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Those were very clear and concise. So finally, we'll get to most of the people here from within the diaspora, and they would want to hear much more about how they can trade. So how can Ugandans abroad become strategic trade partners for Uganda, including through export promotion or diaspora-owned distribution networks in overseas markets? Then my last question to you will also be, what practical steps should diaspora investors take to enter the export business? Practical steps to enter the export business, and what key products and opportunities should we be looking at for long-term success?
So I think the beauty of the diaspora people we are engaging this evening or this morning is that many of them are very IT savvy, and they are living in countries where IT is a very strong enabler, especially in trade and in many other areas. So one, I would really want to encourage e-commerce. I would want to encourage e-commerce in that this is where we can quickly find our goods onto the market. There are many channels which we can be used. Our diaspora people can decide to create trade hubs, which are collection centers. Our products, agriculture especially, I can assure you, I've heard many people here mention experience too, is that if you eat, for instance, our pineapple, our avocado, they are some of the best in the world. I have had people here who come here specifically from UK who say our ghee is the best in the world. But how to get it there, how to get it in the market is where the problem is. So one, collection centers. Our people in the diaspora must be brand ambassadors, because they are straddling both cultures and wherever they are living. They know the culture, the culinary culture, the consumption culture. They know Uganda. So they should be really the bridges to bring this brand into the markets. And one, as I said, through e-commerce, put together collection centers, because anyone who wants, as I said earlier, wants to feed the market or have reliability, say in supermarkets, then they must have collection centers. Let's organize trade exhibition and testing events. For instance, we establish sugar products distribution, as I said. Let's see how we can have brand ambassadors. We talk to the lactose, palm milk, people who are making those products here, processing the ndiro, the many others, so that we can have brand ambassadors for these products out there. And that really will get our goods into the markets. We need to introduce the products into the supermarkets. I want to commend one of our partners whom we are working with closely, Perseid, who are creating trade reps in different countries. They have created trade reps in Serbia. I can assure you, last year we were able to export our first processed and roasted coffee to Serbia. We have there about 4 coffee joints across Serbia. I've been to about 2 of them. People are drinking our coffee, and our coffee is now spreading all over the Balkan and going to the sides of Asia where traditionally, originally it was not going. So we need to introduce those trade, and our people in the diaspora stand in a very strong position to do that for this country. Thank you. Over to you, Fiona.
Thank you very much to you, Mr. Ndorere, and all our panelists for those insightful words and explanations, many of the things that many of us were hearing about for the first time. So right now we are going to move into our interactive question and answer session. We invite participants to raise their hands. Thank you for those who have put your questions in the Q&A. It would be great to know to which panelist you are directing your question. But we invite participants now to raise your hands. You will be unmuted. And then you please introduce yourself by stating your full name, the country where you're based, and then specify to which panelist you'd like to ask your question. And we'll give that chance. So I will start with you, 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞. Please unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, moderator. My name's 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞. I'm based in the United Kingdom. My question goes to Dr. Hilary Musoke. Now, Dr. Hilary's presentation, which was very good, quite a number of information that came through that was very important. Now, my question to you, Dr. Hilary, is you talked about. Sorry, there's an echo coming through.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have someone using two gadgets. Mr. Ndorere, could it be you? I see.
Okay.
It's not me. I have one gadget.
Okay. Yeah,
Now,
yeah, sorry about that. Okay, to continue with the question I wanted to ask Dr. Hilary Musoke was the initiative that you talk about, financing for people who would want to go into commercial agriculture that is available. What kills us mainly here in the diaspora is that lack of knowledge. Now, on a presentation like this, you'll be told there is A, B, C, D that is available for people to tap into for commercial agriculture. But
Yes,
when you get to Uganda, you can never find the right people to approach, to speak to. So all this information we only hear on webinars like this or conferences. People will tell you, oh, there's this, there's that. But trust me, anyone in the diaspora does not know who to approach, which office to go to, which door to knock on to find this information, which is very good, relevant information for us that would want to invest into agriculture. So my appeal is if this information can be made very, very available to the people in the diaspora, say for instance, financing from UDB or whatever other circle, this is the office that you need to approach. This is the person that you need to see if you're interested in accessing those funds.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Fiona, should I respond or I wait?
Kindly go ahead and respond. Or do we have anyone else who has a question for you? But kindly go ahead and respond in just a few minutes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for appreciating this presentation. In fact, Dr. Fiona and our comrades, this is why the Diaspora office was set up. Because before, you remember, we used to come and tell you the things when we travel to New York, when we travel to Berlin, when we travel to London. And guys, government is there to help you. So the president, under his wisdom, decided to set up this office for us to act as a coordination center for all the different government agencies. Because you are very much aware, due to the hassle, when you come here after 1 year, 2 years, where you've been missed by relatives and friends, most of the first week, you are being welcomed by the relatives. The second week, you want to do something, you have no time, you want to return. So you don't get enough time for you to really visit all these offices. By the time you go to the office, someone is in a workshop. Maybe someone is away on leave. So that really becomes a problem. But these programs are there. And it is like anything in agribusiness and value addition. To be me, myself, to recommend you to any government institution, I'm mandated at strategic level, at top management level, to assess your project, to assess your program, and recommend you to Minister of Trade, recommend you to Minister of Agriculture, recommend you to UDB, if it is microfinance, because the government has put their different funds for different initiatives that are geared to either industrialization, either commercial agriculture, either tourism. We have those ATMs that the government has highlighted to make sure that they kickstart Uganda from a 65 billion economy to a 500 billion economy. and this is going to happen. So anything you want to venture into, we are here. Comrade Tofa is 24/7 in the office. Comrade Bagonza is here. We shall just present your project. When you come to this office, and we direct you to the authorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and great to know that we have officers who can give themselves to the diaspora people to come, but maybe probably an email address would do, so that there's an appointment before the person could arrive.
Yes.
So now I'll request that we offer the floor to you, Boaz Murema, NIAS Russian Academy. Let's unmute the Belgian name, NIAS Russian Academy. I know that's an institution. All right, I see there was a special request by Mr. Boaz because he's leaving. But let's go ahead, Byarugaba.
Yeah, thank you, Yona, and all the presenters. My name is Ire Byarugaba. I would like to thank people presented and the host. I will start with my comrade, Dr. Hilary Msoke. When we talk about the diaspora, because I have seen all these platforms where we always talk about the diaspora, how we can put money back home and all these kind of businesses. We only look at a big image that whoever is in diaspora, because whoever is in diaspora has have much money to the capacity of being an investor back home, which is good. But we have some individuals, or even those who have the capacity to invest back home, they need help. For example, we have the program, the PDM, back home in Uganda. The government has supported different programs and even has given money some individuals. Personally, sometimes I ask myself questions. How can an individual given like 5 billion, 10 billion, which would even support a group of a community, a group of people in a community to get out of poverty, but this money is given to only one group or individuals? Now, my question is, do you have a platform whereby for us diaspora, because we have our small money, we work every day, we work every month, we are sure we can fund our projects, we can fund our programs? Is there any support in your office whereby if I come up with maybe 500 million, we are a group of people, we need to do a project, the government can come in and support us? Another question goes to the Agriculture Commission. I forgot him. We have seen a lot of issues with mostly agriculture. You will forgive me, I will not talk about only the diaspora here, because when we talk about agriculture, we mean about the local people back home. For example, me, I have maybe my cows and the coffee plantation and bananas. But there's not any single day, whether I'm there or not, because I reside here in the UK, or if I'm not there, maybe my people have told me there's an agriculture officer who has come to do this and check on my coffee or check on this. Whatever service we need, you need to put your own money. You search for this person. Getting him is a tug of war. And even when you manage to get him, they would ask for fuel, for, you know how they do, and some allowances. Honestly, how can we help our people to get out of this so that they can get services? Sorry.
Okay.
Then lastly, I want to. My question is about the last speaker about the trade. When you look at our business people across the globe, here in the UK, in the US, in the Middle East, and everywhere, you find our traders and other business people, they are suffering alone to make sure they invest they look for the market, they struggle with these governments to get all this documentation is done to make sure that those things are given authority to enter the country and do all that. What we are requesting is, what is the role of the government to come in and ease the process? For example, we have a direct flight from Entebbe to Gatwick. If the government can provide like a warehouse, I heard him talking about all those things. But if, for example, government can provide like a warehouse in Gatwick, you know, the milk is coming from, the product is coming from Entebbe 8 hours to Gatwick. There's a big warehouse where all Ugandans can come and collect their things, and then they transmit all over the communities in Europe, and very many things. So lastly is,
thank you very much, Mr. Byarugaba. We have so many hands up. I would like to request that you put your next question in the Q&A so that we give as many people as possible priority to speak.
Yeah, actually,
Bring another one.
All right. Dear panelists, kindly take down the questions that are directed at, because we are running out of time and we have so many hands. And I request anyone who asks, kindly keep it under 1 minute. Keep your questions short and precise. So now I'll hand over to you, Mr. Boaz, NIAS Persian Academy, to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Boaz Murinzi Mrema. I am the federal president of the Ugandans living in Germany. And my question is to you, Mr. Ndorere Cleophas. Just a previous speaker shortly tapped on it. I would like to know whether there are discussions, especially we need a Minister of Trade to facilitate exportation of especially fresh goods from Uganda to bigger markets. I can speak for ourselves here in Germany that one of the difficulties that had is transport, the very expensive transport costs that our diaspora businessmen and women and persons experience through other airlines. And before the former ED left the airline, our airline had started a conversation on, can we partner, can Minister of Trade and the Minister of Agriculture at least partner with existing airlines that fly here, for example, to a huge hub like Frankfurt, where our fresh products can come easily. I promise you, we have much better vegetables and fruits than Latin America. But why do we see in most of the stores here bad quality foods and fruits from Latin America? So, and this is also something that you can facilitate from down there. To the Minister of Agriculture, Claire, sorry, did I mention it properly? Dr. Fiona, excuse me. I request that you help me to direct this question to a person from the Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Lwakuba.
All right. Can we please have a bilateral agreement that allows us to have our products from Uganda to here? Because we have a lot of blockades, that have been instituted. Even when recently we saw the EU tried to open up to our products from Uganda, but without a good bilateral agreement, we will have the customs in Germany, for example, blocking a lot of our products in Hamburg, which I have seen. And I would very much love to know whether you have started this conversation or not. So, of course, I know it's a question of quality, a question of insecticide and whatever they're being used in our agriculture processes, but can you also to push, to bring our products here without just our diaspora businessmen and women pushing only out of their pockets, and they are facing these blockades that are existing because from the government side, you've not opened up bilaterally in bilateral agreements. Thank you so much, Dr. Fiona, again, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Boaz. Kindly, panelists, kindly take down the questions. I will take another 3 questions and then come to you. So next we have Mr. Daniel Echun. Kindly keep it brief.
Thank you very much, Fiona. My name is Dr. Daniel 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞. I'm the chairman of the Confederation of Ugandans in Southern Africa. I'll be brief. First question to Dr. 𝐓𝐶𝐞𝐦𝐞. This concerns land utilization strategy. I'm worried that we seem to take it for granted that we have so much arable land, yet when big investment comes, it will be a different story. Do we have a utilization strategy whereby, for example, deploying intensive agriculture to spare land for the smaller crops and leave the big land for the larger crops? And if this is in our strategy. The second question is to Dr. Lwakuba. We often have a problem in that because agriculture is a long game, we don't want it to take as long to get the regulatory framework, red tape done, as it is to grow our crops. And the implementation speed is what worries us. Do you have, for example, plans, or do you have a ring-fenced hub whereby all these regulatory things can be fast-tracked in order to speed up implementation within your setup there? And the last is that in terms of agronomics, we were worried about the threats of our topsoil deterioration. As you know, our topsoil is very thin in Uganda, and it is not being replenished on a national level. It's up to individual operators. Do we have a plan and strategy? Because in long term, we may suffer because of the deterioration of this thin topsoil that we have. Thank you.
Thank you for being straight to the point, Dr. 𝐴𝐶𝐻𝐿. Now I'll take a last one from B. Magulu before the next round of questions.
Okay, thank you. Am I loud and clear?
Very, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, we thank you for putting all of us together. My commendation, first of all, goes to the panelists, and in particular, Dr. Chain. Our very own Dr. Hillary, as he's famously known, he has a value addition, if you can put it. Is the value chain, value addition, all those are synonymous with the way he is trying to position Ugandans in the diaspora and also local home here. I will tell you, I'm a returnee from the diaspora. I've been here. I've been a member of the Ugandan Convention UK with Willie Mutenza. We are trying to put to see how to organize members to work together and work with government. I just wanted to kill the fears and assure the members that Dr. Hillary, he practically does so. He reaches out, he calls, he reaches out, he engages partners, he calls them, he doesn't leave you, he handholds an individual. So he's available, kindly use him. And he's free. He will never take without responding to your email, to your telephone, and he has got a wealth of knowledge that we can all rely upon. And because of him, in one of the companies where I'm the chairman, is called CrossGates UK, which is trying to advance and create a platform of creating market for the markets for people within from Uganda to the diaspora communities, UK and the rest. He has contributed significantly by opening clean doors. And I assure you, guys on this program, please reach out to him. And of course, the other commissioners, they are always available. I've also gone to their offices. The doors are open. Lastly, I've had a colleague, I think is 𝐓𝐶𝐞𝐦𝐞. I've had him and what the kind of challenges. So besides government, you also need to look to have a trusted local consultant. And I'll tell you, I'm offering free pro bono services for now for anyone from the UK, that, or from wherever in the diaspora, that needs to be given handhold. I'm a senior banker, a chartered accountant of England. I have credibility is not in question. I'm happy to support anyone that has a challenge because besides government, you also need to have a proper setup. You need to hire people. You need to deal with the right, and I'm sharing my details with the group so that you can probably make reference to. I thank you. I just wanted to offer that so that if everybody, the system works. The system works. We just need to.
Thank you, Mr. Magulu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Magulu, and for letting us know that the system works, but also to note that as diaspora, it's difficult for us to keep flying back home to go to the offices. We need online support. So maybe that will be helpful. I think we only have one final question. People gave up on the queue. Hereza Pasi, I'll give you a chance, and then we can answer all the questions.
All right. Thank you so much for the moderator for having this organized, and to all the speakers. Thank you for this information. My point is valuation and trade specific, and I believe it would go better to Dr. Hilary and Mr. Cleopas. What steps is the government taking to control the global coffee market in the case that cooperating with perhaps the top 6 or 7 exporting countries of coffee and establish the minimum step or in the value chain at which coffee can be exported? I believe cooperating with the top 6 or 7 exporters would be able to control what the buyers receive, and not only one country specific. That if Uganda sets a minimum step at the value chain, then other countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being straight to the point. So I'll now hand over to our panelists, then I'll get to the chat quickly. I was asked to compensate the 10 minutes that we delayed at the beginning. So I'll start with you, Dr. Musoke, to answer the questions that were directed at you.
Dr. Fiona, thank you so much, and also to our diaspora community. I really appreciate Comrade Maguru. I didn't know even because I'm trying to figure out, and I didn't know that he was really, my work was being appreciated, but thank you. I feel motivated. Yes, my colleague asked about the PDM. I talked about PDM. Maybe it's just information briefly. PDM is one of the so many programs that government has come up to have an inclusive involvement of communities into the money economy. Dear colleagues in the diaspora, just know that there is a Ugandan there in the villages, in the rural areas, who has even never handled at once 300,000, 500,000, or $1 million. So the president said, how do we move these Ugandans into the money economy? To have an activity. He gets 1 million, buys 10 piglets, and after 2 years, he has 200 piglets. That one is a Ugandan who will have moved in the money economy. So yes, we are giving money to these groups, but this is intentional and deliberate. About one person being given money like 5 billion, say, Nonda Coffee, Tugume, Nelson, these are also budgeted for, because one person will be going to do a project that is going to create more money when we look at import substitution. The money will be saving going out of the country could be much more 100 times than the money we are giving him. You know very well that when you do, I told you that coffee, we are only earning 10%, and yet it is grown here. Imagine the countries that process and the 90%. That is an economic hemorrhage that the president tells you. Our money goes and is donated to those countries. So these are strategic deliberate interventions, giving one person even $100 million, as long as the project is going to save us from an economic hemorrhage. Diaspora support here in the office headed by Mr. Bagonza Muhammad, and the team, we have recommended to the president to create a diaspora fund, which is ongoing. There are so many interventions which we are going to engage with the Comrade Topher because of time. He will update you on the different support that we are making in the pipeline, discussing with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bank of Uganda, Minister of Finance, to see that we put for you a diaspora fund, even when you are in those countries, as long as you can make meaningful business there. We want you to be supported to make sure that business grows and then you bring back more profits to the country. The only challenge was that before, remember you guys whom we've been sharing ideas in the diaspora had been used for politicking. It had been left for politics, just blaming government, fixing blame here and there. But now, when people realize that most of the politicians here are self-seekers, now we are discussing material things like these platforms that we are embarking on. You are discussing about growth, we are discussing about development, we are discussing about wealth creation. So now, utilize this office. Now, my comrade in South Africa, yes, you talked about strategies about land system, providing land for the small crops and then land for the comrades, that Uganda is one of those few countries with micro ownership. We have either communal, either public land. And for you to gazette certain land, you need consent from communities, from families, or from individual owners, which is very, very difficult. So maybe later, years to come, it is high time that we as government think about changing the land policy and the tenure system, because many projects, sometimes you hear that a road is very expensive. An express road is expensive. They don't tell you that compensating owners of land titles along where that road is going to pass is a hell of money. So the land policy, which the colonialists left us with, sometimes a disaster. So this is food for thought, comrade, to see how we can plan strategically and organize our agricultural system. Then the last one here, about the coffee. My brother, coffee is a business of cartels. Uganda may not do a, because it's competition. You have to provide the right product, the right market. You are very much aware that at the stock exchange, we don't control the prices of coffee and the chocolate. You can imagine. There are those giants who control the stock markets. So that means that we just need to see that we provide abundant supplies of the right quality and also promote as much growth. But we must promote value addition at our source so that we prevent the drainage, the draining of our money to those countries. But this is a process and it is work in progress. As long as we remain intentional, we are going to advise the president, we are going to advise the ministries and the entities to see that we really streamline the coffee business. But remember, coffee is a green gold that every country would love to prioritize. So we need really to work as a team. If you have ideas, if you have markets there, if you know how we can really promote Ugandan coffee, but value added, please feel free to share. Bring concepts and proposals on this platform. All your ideas will reach the high executive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐿. And if in 30 seconds you can give us your parting shot, because I want to close this webinar in the next 5 minutes after your colleagues have also spoken. Just a parting shot. What do you have to say to the diaspora people?
To me here? Yes, Dr. Fiona. Thank you, dear colleagues in the diaspora. There is time for politicking. There is time for work. This is the time we must work. We must rebrand Africa. Let us love Uganda, our country. Let us use the available networks, the technologies, the skills, and the numbers in the diaspora to bring back home and see that we build our country. Uganda has potential. It has capacity to look like those countries. If we are intentional, 1, to maintain the peace, 2, to promote agribusiness and value addition on all our raw materials, both agro and non-agro, the cobalt, the lithium, the gold, the tin, everything. If we do value addition here, and also promote agribusiness as a strategic sector, Uganda can feed Africa, Uganda can feed the world, and Uganda can create more jobs, more than its population. We shall start importing labor from
Human resource.
Rwanda, from Kenya, and other countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the optimism and giving us such encouragement. So now I move to you, Mr. Lwakuba. In 2 minutes, if you could answer the questions that you also received, and then give us your
Yeah,
parting.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fiona, moderator. Question from Mr. Byarugaba. Mr. Byarugaba, and it was on the issue of availability of extension personnel. Now, what I want to assure my brother, Mr. Byarugaba, is that Uganda's agriculture has changed from the old 30, 20 years ago. We are transforming, as you know, and agriculture is contributing to the socio-economic transformation, but also transformation of the way we do business. In the past, it was subsistence. We're working for only survival, for food. And as such, it was an obligation of government to provide extension personnel to move out to every farmer and advise. The transformation and modernization, considering that agriculture is a business, would require that we demand the services. And we are promoting farmer groups and farmer associations, viable farmer groups and farmer associations that can register. That is why we blend in the PDM. And there it becomes easy for a person who is one extension agent to talk to a group at once, other than moving individually, because of limitations, first of the numbers, but limitations of the logistics. So now we would like also the farmers to change a little bit, to adjust. And that is why the subject of mindset comes in. Agriculture is a business. Let us handle it as a business. And we invest, demand the services, and they will come. If we can do that one. I hope I am not maybe unkind to you. Yeah, so that is one. And government is also increasing. We must appreciate that we put up an extension reform, extension service delivery, and we are improving the staffing. And we are improving the staffing, and extension has also been prioritized. That is the one. Now, there is another one from Germany, from Boaz. Bilateral agreements, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, but it would be better that our colleagues in the diaspora can come and identify who to deal with. You initiate the agreements, you initiate the partnerships, and yet we pursue them. It is easy to pursue them. It is possible to have these bilaterals. It's very possible. But how you look for the right avenues, right procedures. And then there is one who asked from South Africa, and started with, leaving land for big crops and small crops. Here we have what we call zoning, and we should use some professional guidance of what is the suitable, where the crops should be grown where they can perform best. That is the mapping. You map, and we have zones here where we even match crop varieties to specific areas. Well, not only by your physical compliance or conformity, but also for socio-economic factors like marketing, like maybe availability of labor, infrastructure. So here we promote zoning. Then you have another issue of the long period of time or bureaucracies in regulation. Please, now when it comes to regulation or certification, to improve access to markets, and this is one of the priorities in the agricultural sector, promoting access to markets and increasing competitiveness. Please, we are also migrating to digital. You remember that digital transformation is one of the areas that have been prioritized in this year, in the 2026-27 budget. Digital transformation, commercial agriculture and digital transformation, expanding services and even market access. So what we do here is that we are also we are exploring, not only exploring, but we have started actually adopting methods of operations. Even if you want certification, there is digital certification. And traceability, we use digital technologies. So please, that one is actually improving the service delivery and reducing on the delays. And finally, from South Africa, you asked whether we have a strategy to protect soil erosion or soil degradation. Yes, first we have policies. It may not be in agriculture alone, but across government, we have a land use policy. We have a land use policy. It is domiciled in the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development. There is a land use policy. In that one, we have strategies for sustainable utilization, management of the soils of land. Not only registration or administration, but also in the management of land. But we also have the agricultural policy. Those are policies, agricultural policy. We have specific interventions in agriculture. For example, we have a running project known as Uganda Climate Agriculture Uganda Smart Agriculture. Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project. That one has an intervention called Sustainable Land Management. In Sustainable Land Management, we are after protecting soil, managing soil fertility, protecting soil erosion, managing soil fertility through practices like integrated nutrient management, like agroforestry. All these are aimed at rejuvenating soil. And we also, as a Ministry of Agriculture, we are promoting sustainable agriculture. And sustainable agriculture has practices that deliberately protect the soil and sustain the utilization of our soil. And then finally, now I wanted just to add
Mr.
to
Wakwa,
somebody.
Finally could actually be 30 seconds.
Finally, somebody talks, how can we? Do we have a strategy to really see Uganda among the 6 top coffee? I wanted to add that one. Among the big 6 players in the world, yes, there is a strategy. I talked to the coffee roadmap, and I talked to the target. The target, Uganda's target, to increase production and productivity of Uganda's coffee. And we compete with the rest of these other producers. Through increasing production and productivity, we have got also a strategy to carry out aggressive marketing. And as I speak right now, tomorrow my political leader and technical leader, the PS, and a commissioner, coffee production and development, will be traveling to Brussels to participate in that global exhibition. They also, the other months, they were in UK. The other months, they were in China. We are moving out aggressively to promote Uganda's coffee. We open shop. We open shop in the Emirates. And that's what we are doing. Increase value addition, increase partnerships. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wakwa. And I will beg this time in 2 seconds. There are 2 questions directed at you in the chat. Is the ministry interested in helping with precision agriculture? And the second one, which just needs 1 second, which department is handling food safety concerns at the ministry?
Oh, thank you very much. Precision agriculture, yes. Actually, I've been handling and assisting some companies or farmers that want to import drones for using agriculture. At least I've worked on about 2 or 3, and we are still doing that and promoting it. Precision
Kindly help us
agriculture.
with your contact so that these people can contact you directly on that. So
I will provide the contact shortly.
Which department works on food safety?
It's a now food security, food and nutrition security. It is still in the department that I head. It is a department of crop production and protection. Department of Crop Production and Protection handles food security issues. Even yesterday, I was handling issues of Karamoja. My contact is yes, I'm handling the two. 0772. Oh, can I type it? Let me try. Thank you very much. Let me you go to another one.
Tofa should type it in the chat. Okay, thank you, colleagues. Now, finally, Mr. Ndorera, you did excellently well during your presentation with time, so I'll request you to also answer any questions that were directed at you and give us your parting shot.
Thank you very much, Fiona. First, I just want to make a rejoinder on coffee and to invite why this meeting is really very important and why we need investment from the diaspora if Uganda is to benefit from the coffee, where we are the leading exporters. If you look at the first 6 exporters of coffee in this country, that is 𝐓𝐸𝐜. It is a subsidiary. It's a Swiss company, a trading group for Sukafina, that is Swiss. If you look at 𝐓𝐨𝐻𝐢𝐜, it is also Swiss, that is Volcaf. If you look at 𝐓𝐸𝐜𝐞, it's also Swiss, that is 𝐓𝐸𝐜. If you look at 𝐓𝐵ERU, it is German, that is the Neo Cafe Group. Olam, it is Singapore. So what am I saying? I'm simply saying that, yes, we are exporting a lot of coffee, but the question is this money in the hands of Ugandans? The answer is your guess is as good as mine. So we're inviting the diaspora people. Why can't you put together a money, form a company, a Ugandan company that will export that coffee, and that money will remain in the pockets of Uganda? What is happening now is that, well, the farmers are getting some money, the aggregators and all that, but the people who are getting the premium are those companies I mentioned earlier. So let me go to what one talked about. Traders are suffering, about testing laboratories. I want to inform you that we now have, after RAPEX, we have what they call the Uganda Free Zone Export Promotion Authority. The law allows it to set up free zones anywhere in the world now. That regulatory framework is there, and that is a discussion as a proposal was made. Why can't we set up a free zone?
Do you want to know why it's not texting you right now?
Why can't we? Someone is already in the party mode.
So, no, they're not letting us know that we are way beyond time now.
Okay. I thought someone had started a party. So we are going to establish those those warehouses, cold chains and all that. We already have 5 of them at the airport in Entebbe, which are open out for leasing.
Do you want to know why it's
not already signed?
IT department, kindly help and stop that music.
We have signed what we call mutual recognition agreements to help in standards, especially like in grains and other products, so that the standards are harmonized across the different countries. And we are you know, Uganda is in the East African Customs Union. So we had earlier started the agreements they are talking about. We are going to sign what we call an economic partnership agreement. Way back about a couple of years ago, because we cannot unilaterally join some agreements because of the customs union, but somehow some of the political leadership in some neighboring countries were not in favor of it. But there's now been a political directive from the high level that we now open up again the economic partnership agreement with the European Union. And some of these are areas where we discuss more details on trade development, capacity building in the laboratories, as you mentioned earlier. Although we can access that market through the everything but arms, that everything but arms is a unilateral agreement, so you don't come with your requests, you only take what is put on the table. In the ministry here, we also have the notifications, where the notification authority for the SPS I mentioned earlier and the TBT requirements. We get all the notifications at the WTO and ensure that they trickle down to the producers, especially on maximum residue limits, on the chemicals you can use and those you cannot use, on the packaging you can use and that you cannot use. We ensure that it gets to the people who need it most. So I think those were the major questions. I know I want to inform, we also have Uganda National Accreditation Services. Previously, if you wanted to test a product or to send a sample, you would have to send your product, say, to South Africa, to Kenya, Kenas, to SANAS, to give you certification, to give confidence to your buyers that the product is up to standard and has got is a good product, safe for consumption or safe for usage. But now we have the Uganda National Accreditation Service, which is a government institution, which is building capacity to ensure that now the cost of doing business is not as expensive as it was when you have to send your products for testing to outside. So as a parting shot, Fiona, really, one, I want to thank again, but to request that moving forward, perhaps we delimit some of these discussions because there's so much to be said. And if we get an information overdose to our diaspora, sometimes they may not pick
I agree with you.
exactly
I agree
what.
with you.
Let's
And,
see, moving forward, we get one dedicated and we do it justice rather than running over a lot of things and you find that we have not fully captured many of them. But in conclusion, I really want to say that Uganda possesses a significant comparative advantage, especially in agriculture, value addition. And given the negotiations and the markets we have negotiated, tariff liberalization at the 𝐓𝐡𝐞𝐦𝐞, in COMESA, in EAC, the potential is very, very big. So I want to invite my brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come and take advantage of this opportunity because ultimately, as Dr. Hillary said, this remains your country. And they say that East to West, home is best. Thank you so much. And
thank you very much, and we'll appreciate our panelists if you could put for us your contacts in the chat. We don't want to take flights to come to your offices. You all say that you're available and would want to contact you. But we want to talk to you before we come to meet you physically. Sula, I've seen your hand is up for a long time, and you from Special Duties Office. I want to assume you're part of the government. I'll give you 1 minute. Kindly unmute your microphone. Please go ahead, Sula.
Thank you so much. Actually, Dr. Hillary is my boss. My question was towards Mr. Alex, but he has tried and he has provided a contact. So basically, that is why I lowered the hand.
Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. And sincere apologies, dear friends, for keeping you on for longer than anticipated. Next time, we shall make sure we start on time and end on time. But I want to thank the State House Diaspora Unit that organized and is still organizing many of these talks. The next engagement the next webinar will be on Wednesday, July. These are happening twice a month. And the theme next on 8th of July will be digital economy, ICT, and AI. Also note that this session is recorded and will be uploaded to the YouTube channel of the State House Diaspora Unit. Thank you our hosts, Topher for hosting us. Thank you to our panelists. Thanks to everyone that attended. And I have been glad to be your moderator, Fiona Twewe, and I'm the chairperson for the Ugandan network in Kenya. We shall see you again next week on Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. Thank you. And all contacts for the panelists are in the chat.